The wind that night didn't feel like ordinary wind. It felt like it had memory, like it had been traveling through places I would never see, carrying stories I would never hear, brushing past people who were still hopeful while I was not. I remember standing outside because I couldn't stay inside anymore. Inside felt too small for everything I was carrying. There are moments in life when silence becomes louder than noise. And that was mine. I had asked God a question so many times that it stopped sounding like prayer. Why me? Not once, not twice. So many times it started to feel like it belonged to me more than my own name. Why me? When I tried to do everything right. Why me when others seemed to move forward so easily? Why me when I prayed, when I stayed, when I believed and still lost? That night, I walked until I didn't know where I was anymore. A road I didn't recognize stretched ahead, fading into a thin line beneath a sky that looked too heavy to hold itself up. Clouds were scattered like something had been torn and never repaired. Far away, I could see the outline of hills, dark shapes resting against the horizon like sleeping giants. I don't know why I followed that road. Maybe because stopping felt worse than wandering. My chest felt tight in a way I couldn't explain. Not pain exactly, more like something inside me had been slowly closing for a long time. And I didn't realize how alone I was until I finally stopped hearing my own thoughts. There was a lake at the end of that road. I didn't know it existed until I reached it. It wasn't dramatic or beautiful in the way people describe places online. It was quiet, still, almost indifferent to my arrival. The water reflected nothing clearly, just fragments of sky, broken pieces of moonlight trembling on the surface like they didn't know where to settle. I sat down without thinking. My hands were shaking, and I said it again out loud this time. Why me, God? My voice didn't echo. It just disappeared into the air like it was never spoken. I don't know how long I sat there. Time started behaving strangely. Minutes didn't feel like minutes. My thoughts kept circling the same places, the same memories I didn't want to visit but couldn't escape. The hospital corridor, the unanswered messages, the job rejection email that felt colder than it should have, the people who left without explaining why, and underneath all of it, the quiet feeling that maybe I was overlooked by life itself. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees, staring at the lake as if it might finally respond. Everyone else is moving forward. I whispered, "What about me?" The wind passed over the water again, and for a moment, I thought I heard nothing at all, not even God. That was the hardest kind of silence. Not absence, just distance. I don't remember deciding to stand up, but I did. My legs carried me along the edge of the lake until the ground shifted into a narrow path leading up a hill. The climb wasn't steep, but it felt heavy. Every step pulled something out of me, like I was shedding pieces of hope I didn't know I still had. At the top of the hill, the world opened up. The lake below looked smaller from there. The road I came from was almost invisible. The wind was stronger, cleaner somehow, like it had traveled farther to reach this place. And then I saw it, a wooden slate. It was resting against a stone, half weathered by time. Not new, not polished. It looked like it had been there long enough to become part of the hill itself. Something about it made me stop. I don't know why I approached it, but I did. The writing on it was simple, burned into it like someone had taken their time. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34, verse 18. I read it once, then again, and something in my chest tightened in a different way. Not pain this time, recognition. Like those words had been waiting for me longer than I had been hurting. I sat down in front of it, and for the first time that night, I didn't speak. I don't know how to explain what happens inside a person when silence stops feeling empty and starts feeling aware, like something is listening without interrupting. I stared at the slate until the words blurred slightly. Close, I whispered. If you're close, why does it feel like I'm alone? The wind answered by brushing through the grass. And I laughed once, not because it was funny, because I didn't know what else to do with the feeling rising in my chest. I asked you why me. I said again, quieter now, but you never answered. My voice cracked at the end, and that's when I broke. Not loudly, not dramatically, just finally, like something I had been holding together for years had reached its limit. I don't know how long I stayed like that. When I finally lifted my head, the sky had changed. The night wasn't as dark anymore. A faint line of light was forming far away. Where the horizon met the world, it looked like the beginning of something that hadn't fully arrived yet. A sunrise that hadn't decided to be seen. I stood up slowly and walked further up the hill. There was another slate waiting there. This one was older. The wood was darker, worn smooth in places where hands must have touched it before mine. And the words on it were different. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46, verse 10. I didn't read it quickly. I let it sit. Be still. Those words didn't feel like instruction. They felt like invitati. On. And I realized something I didn't want to admit. I hadn't been still in a long time. Not really. Even W. And I prayed I wasn't still. I was rushing, pleading, EXP, laning, filling every silence with fear. But stillness, that was different. Stillness meant trusting something beyond my control. And I wasn't sure I knew how. The wind softened, and I sat again, this time facing the horizon. The light was growing slowly now, revealing shapes in the distance. The outline of mountains I hadn't seen before. They looked ancient, like they had been there long before my questions existed. I don't know why, but I started talking again. Not asking this time, just speaking. I thought, you forgot me. I said, my voice was steadier than before. I thought maybe I was praying wrong, or living wrong, or something. I swallowed. I kept asking why me because I needed the answer to make sense of everything. The light from the horizon brightened slightly, and I continued, but what if? I don't need the answer right now. That thought scared me, because it meant letting go of control, and I had been holding on so tightly. I didn't realize how exhausted my hands had become. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't try to explain my pain. I just let it exist. The wind moved around me gently, and in that quiet space, a verse came to mind. Not like a voice from outside, but like something already written inside me that I have forgotten how to read. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in the future. Jeremiah 29, verse 11. I didn't force it. It just surfaced. And suddenly, the question I had been asking for so long felt different, not gone. Just smaller than I thought. The sun began to rise. Slowly, like it was careful not to overwhelm the darkness too quickly. Light spread across the valley below, touching the lake I had come from. From here, I could see it clearly now. It wasn't empty. It wasn't lifeless. It was reflecting the sky. Everything I thought was broken was just reflecting something I couldn't see before. I stood there a long time, not because I had found answers, but because something inside me had stopped resisting the lack of them. And then I understood something I didn't expect. God didn't answer my why me in words. He answered it in presence. in the fact that I was still standing, still breathing, still here. Not because nothing had happened, but because something greater had carried me through it without announcing itself. I walked back down the hill slowly. The same path felt different now. Not easier, just no longer alone. And as I passed the first slate again, I stopped. I looked at it once more. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. And I nodded slightly, not because everything made sense now, but because I no longer believed I was forgotten. On the way back, the wind followed me, not pushing me anymore, just moving with me. And somewhere between the hill and the road, I whispered something I hadn't said before. Not a question, not a plea, just, okay. And it didn't feel like surrender. It felt like the beginning of trust. Even now, I can't say I understand everything that happened that night, but I know this. The moment I asked why me, I expected an explanation. What I received instead was something harder, something quieter, something that didn't remove the pain, but refused to leave me inside it alone. And somehow, that changed everything.